Good morning, students. I hope you all are doing well and taking all precaution against the coronavirus. And you have also understood the topic which we have seen in the session first. Now we are going to start our next session. But before going to start, first let us see what we have learned till. See, in this chapter we have learned here first about the introduction about the agriculture and agriculture practices, what do you mean by the crop and the types of crops, about the horticulture, what are the steps which are improve the agriculture produced, then how the soil is prepared and what are the agriculture tools are over, the method of sowing and the preparation of seed bed. This we all have seen in the first session. Now the rest of the topic we will cover in our next session in the next slide. Let us start with our next topic, that is manuring. See the definition of manuring. The process of adding fertilizers to the soil is called as manuring. That means whenever we add fertilizers into the soil, that process is known as manuring. And the fertilizers are the one or the substances which are added to the soil in the form of nutrients for the healthy growth of crop or the plants are called as fertilizers. So these are the substances which are in the form of nutrients and which are required for the growth of plants. So these fertilizers whenever added into the soil, that process is known as manuring. So have you observed in your surroundings some of the plants which grow better and while rest of the shows weak growth? So why this is so? Why do some plants grow better than others? That means some of the plants can get proper amount of nutrients, some of the plants cannot get proper amount of nutrient. Why this is so? All of you know that soil supplies mineral nutrients to the crop and these nutrients are essential for the growth of crop. So every crop has certain specific requirements. That means every crop can utilize specific nutrients for its growth. So in case of certain areas, farmers can grow crop one after another in the same field so that that field is never be left uncultivated or free. If farmers can grow crops or farmers can grow the same crop continuously in the field, so then that field becomes deficient in that certain nutrients. So continuous growth of same crop in the field makes the soil poorer and deficient in certain nutrient. Therefore farmers have to add manure to the field to replenish that soil with nutrients, and this process of adding these nutrients is called as manuring. So these fertilizers are provide nutrients to the soil and helps to get better yield of the crop. So depending upon the type of soil, what kind of soil is there and the crop to be grown, we have to add the fertilizers. The next one topic is manure. Manure is an organic substance which is obtained from the decomposition of plant or animal waste like cow dung, urine, plant parts, vegetable or fruit peel and similar other organic waste. So from what we get manure? Manure we get from the manure, it is the organic substance which we obtain from the decomposition of certain plant or animal waste like cow dung, urine, plant parts, vegetables or fruit peels and other organic waste. So farmers dump in the plant. So farmers dump the plant and animal waste in the pit at open place and allow it to decompose. So the decomposition is done by certain microorganisms like bacteria and fungi, and this decomposed matter is used as a manure, that is organic manure. So manure is a traditional natural fertilizers which is used by the farmers and it is considered better than that of the chemical fertilizers. So crops which grown by using the manure are safer than the crops which grown with the help of chemical fertilizers. There are certain commonly used manures are just like farmyard manure. Farmyard manure, it is the mixture of decomposed cattle dung, urine, leftover fodder and litter. They are whenever add, mixed and decomposed, they form the farmyard manure. Compost manure it is also the organic manure, the vegetables and the animal refuse collected from the domestic waste, straw, weeds, they are dumped in a deep pit and decomposed. From that we can get the compost manure. And next one is the vermicompost. Vermicompost manure, that means the compost which is broken down by the earthworm. So in this way we use certain manures for getting the proper growth of plant so that we get the better yield of crop. The next term is the organic farming. See, whenever the organic manure is used during the farming, then that type of farming is called as organic farming. That means in this method, this method involves growing and nutrient crops without use of growing and nurture the crops without use of synthetic based fertilizers or pesticides. The use of fertilizers of organic origins such as compost manure, green manure, they can use certain techniques like crop rotation, biological pest control. This includes in the organic farming. Now next one is the chemical fertilizers. Chemical fertilizers are those which are manufactured from chemicals in the factories. So these chemical fertilizers are usually rich in specific mineral content. They can contain certain minerals. So most of the chemical fertilizers are nitrogenous or the phosphatic origin. For example, most commonly used fertilizers are NPK, that is N stands for nitrogen, P stands for phosphate and K stands for potassium, that is nitrogen, phosphate and potassium. So these are the chemical fertilizers. Here are the certain advantages of manure. See, the organic manure is considered better than the fertilizer. Why organic manure is better than the fertilizer? Because it enhances the water holding capacity of soil. It also makes soil porous, due to which the gaseous exchange become easily. It increases the number of friendly microorganisms in the soil, and it also improves the texture of soil. So always we have to use the organic manure as compared to the fertilizers. Here it is the comparison between the chemical fertilizer and manure. See, chemical fertilizers are those which are inorganic chemical compound. Okay, chemical fertilizers are the inorganic chemical compound. That means they do not possess any organic compounds. Manure, it is the natural substance which are formed by the decomposition of either animal or the plant waste. Chemical fertilizers are prepared artificially. That means they can prepare in the factories. But the manure which we get from naturally in the field. The chemical fertilizers are poor in organic nutrients. Okay, chemical fertilizers are poor in organic nutrients while the manures are rich in organic nutrients. That means the organic content is more in case of manure. In chemical fertilizers, they are rich in inorganic nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Inorganic nutrients are nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, which are mainly present in the chemical fertilizers. And in case of manure, it is comparatively less rich in the inorganic nutrients. So this is about the what are chemical fertilizers and manure and difference between them. One is the natural methods. See, the natural methods, that means just we have seen that by supplying nutrients artificially, we can regain the lost nutrients in the soil. Okay, so there are also certain natural methods which can also help for regaining the lost nutrients in the soil. The first method which we use, that means to supply the nutrients to the soils. Okay, if nutrients are less in the soil, then we can add the manure and provide plants to the nutrients. But besides these, there are also certain natural methods so that they can also regain the lost nutrients in the soil. So these are as follows. That means first one is the field following, second crop rotation, third one is the multiple cropping. Now we will learn about the first field following. See here, fallow means to free. So all of you have heard that when the crop planted during month November and harvested in March and April. Okay. So which crop we can planted in the November and harvested in March and April? Wheat crop. Okay. So whenever that wheat crop planted during the November and harvested in March and April, also rice crop is planted during the June, July and harvested in the October and November. So in between these two cereal crops, the land become free. Okay. Free means that is fallow. So during this free time, the dead plants and animals and other organic matters get collected over that field and get decomposed by certain microorganisms and thereby return the nutrients in the soil. So in this way, this help in replenishing the lost nutrient easily. Next one is the crop rotation. See, what do you mean by the crop rotation? It is also the method from that we can get the from that we can regain the lost nutrients in the soil. See, crop rotation means to grow different crops alternately. We have to crop different crops but alternately. For example, in the earlier farmers of northern India, they can use to grow the legumes as a fodder in one season and wheat in the next season. They cannot grow same crop in the same field. So leguminous crop, why they use leguminous crop? See, leguminous crop does not take as long as wheat or rice to grow. They are grow in very less time. So some farmers sows the leguminous crop in between the two seasons. So by the time the farmers has to plant the cereal crops and leguminous crop grown is ready for the harvesting. For example, leguminous plants means peas, beans, gram and pulses. So in previous class you have learned about the rhizobium bacterium which is present in the nodule of the roots of legumes. Okay, so which fixes the atmospheric nitrogen and that nitrogen after fixing convert into the usable form of nitrogen in the soil. So soil becomes rich in the nitrogen in this way, and after the leguminous plant is harvested, the soil is left fertile for that other crops. So the process of growing different crops, preferably leguminous crop, in between the raising of two similar crop is called as rotation of crop. There are certain advantages of crop rotation. Means if we do the crop rotation, then we get the that land get utilized first. Second, soil is not continuously depleted for that particular nutrient, and also due to the crop rotation, the next crop gives the better yield. So these are all the advantages of crop rotation. The next one is the multiple cropping. See, multiple cropping means growing two or more crops in the same field. It's called as multiple cropping. That means multiple crops are grown over there. So for this, the crops are chosen in such a way that the products and waste material from one crop will help the growth of another crop. That means the product which we get from one crop and waste material of that crop will help the growth of another crop. If the country has food problem, then it is the best solution because some piece of land is used to grow different kind of crops. This is all about the natural methods which we used for getting the lost nutrients in the soil. Okay. Next one is the irrigation. Irrigation means first we have to know about the some of the introduction, then we will see about the irrigation. All of you know that plants need water for their growth and preparation of their food. So it is necessary to supply the water to the plants in field periodically. That is known as irrigation. That means water is important for the proper growth and development of the flowers, fruits and seeds of the plants. As this water is absorbed by the plant root along with water, certain minerals and fertilizers also get absorbed. So that water is essential because germination of seed is also a seed is also do not takes place under the dry condition. So water is essential for that purpose. Also water also protect the crop from frost and the hot air current. So to maintain the moisture in the soil for healthy crop growth, field have to be watered regularly, and the supply of water to the crops at regular interval is called as irrigation. So there are major sources of water in the field. The most major source of water in the field is the rainfall. Since the time and amount of rainfall fluctuates, so farmers depend upon an alternate source of irrigation. So there are alternate source of irrigation means these sources are rivers, water reservoirs, lakes, ponds, wells and tube wells. So these are the alternate sources of irrigation. So water from these sources is provided by either pumping or by electric or the diesel pump or by using the irrigation canal. Okay, so before these modern techniques, farmer used certain traditional techniques. See, here are the traditional methods of irrigation. See in that pictures, first one figure is about the moat. Okay, the next one figure is about the chain pump. Third one is it is about the dekli, and fourth one it is about the rahat, that is the lever system. See, water is available in wells, lakes and canals which is left off by the different methods in different regions and provide water to the field. So cattle or human labor is used in this kind of field. See in the fourth picture, that cattle is used uh, for that method. So these methods are cheaper but these are less efficient. Okay, so pumps are commonly used for lifting water. Diesel, electricity or solar gases are used to run this kind of pumps. This is all about the traditional method of irrigation. Now there are two methods of modern irrigation field. So these two methods are the modern, that is the sprinkler method and drip system. What do you mean by the sprinkler system? This we have to first know. See, this method is useful in water scarce areas. That means desert and the area which has the less or uneven rainfall. In that kind of area, we can use the sprinkler system. See the structure of that sprinkler system. It consists of main pipe to which many pipes are attached in the series, and these perpendicular pipes have nozzles at the right angle, and water will be flow through the top of main pipe with the help of pump. Whenever that water comes in attached pipe and comes out in the form of sprinkles through the nozzle, it sprinkle water on the crop like a rain. So it can sprinkle this water on crop like a rain. In this way sprinkle system is used, in that we can use main pipe, and from that main pipe certain pipes are attached over there. There is again presence of nozzle at the top, and by providing the water to that pipes, it can comes in the form of sprinkles through that nozzle, and it can sprinkle on crop in the form of rain. Okay, this is all about the sprinkle irrigation. The next one is the drip irrigation. Drip system or the drip irrigation means in this system water falls drop by drop just at the position of root, so it is called as drip system. It is the best technique of watering the fruit plants, gardens and trees. It provides water to plants drop by drop, so water is not wasted at all in this case. See the structure of this drip irrigation. That means it consists of water pump which is attached to the main pipe, which further has lateral pipes attached to it, and these lateral pipes have certain small nozzles which are at the root of the plant. So when water flow through the system, it falls drop by drop at position of root, and it is useful in the areas where there is the shortage of water. When there is shortage of water at that area, this drip irrigation system is use. Next one is the harvesting. We have seen about how the how the chemical fertilizers, manures are used in the field, that then natural methods for regaining the nutrients in the soil, then afterwards the um, um, water giving capacity, that means the irrigation, and then afterwards that irrigation we have to harvest our crop. So what is harvesting? Harvesting of crop, it is important task. See, the process of cutting and gathering crops from field after the crops have matured is called as harvesting. Whenever our crop get matured, at that time, after getting matured, that crop should be cut and gathered. That process is called as harvesting. So harvesting in our country is done either manually by the sickle or by machine. That machine is called as harvester. Okay, so harvesting can be done by certain methods. The first method is the manual harvesting. Manual harvesting means some of the farmers use sickle to harvest the crop like wheat, maize and paddy, which fruits and vegetables are plucked manually by the farmers. They can pluck manually by the farmers, and for the kind of plants like wheat, maize, paddy, farmers can use sickles. So sometimes tractor driven machines are also used to harvest some of the plants. That means the harvester is used for the wheat and paddy crops. Okay. The next one is the threshing. See, threshing. Once the crop is harvested, grains are separated from the crop by the process of threshing. Whenever we can harvest the crop, at that time we have to separate that seeds. Okay, separate that grains from that crop. So separation of that grains from the crop, that process is called as threshing. Some grains are separated by using certain animals like camel, oxen, buffaloes uh, to trample over there, and where the crops are spread on the ground. That means crops are spread on the ground, and from that crop these animals can trample over there. So by using this method, some of the grains are also separated. The instrument which is used over here, it is the thresher. What do you mean the thresher? It is the large farm machine called as thresher, which is used as it has the big rollers under which crops are passed and grains can be separated. Okay, this is all about the manual harvesting and threshing. The next one is about the combine. Combine, it is the motor. The next one is about the combine. See, combine, it is the motorized machine which is used to both the harvesting and threshing purpose. Okay, both kind of work can be done simultaneously. That is, harvesting and throwing can be done simultaneously with the help of motorized machine, that is known as combine. But combine is used for the wheat crop. It produces less amount fodder than by using other method. So it is not preferred in case of wheat crop. In case of wheat crop, when we use, at that time it cannot it produces only less amount of fodder. So it is not preferable for the wheat crop. The next one is the winnowing. Winnowing, it is the process in which grains are separated by threshing, are further separated from the chaff. See, whenever the grains are separated by threshing, after that process again grains are separated from the chaff. That process is known as winnowing. See here, chaff means it is the husk which is surrounding the seed or the part of grain that is generally thrown away. Okay, this is known as chaff. This process is done by using the wind. See in that picture, this process is done by using the wind. In this process, the mixture is tossed or dropped on the ground from the height, so that the chaff which is lighter in weight get blown away by the wind, and as the grain are heavier, they can fall straight on the ground due to gravity. Then the stem of this crop is cut into the pieces and fed to cattle along with the chaff, which is called as fodder, which becomes the food for the cattle. That means whenever they can whenever they can thrown or tossed uh, on the ground from certain height, at that time the chaff which is lighter in weight, it can blown away with the help of wind, and the grains which are heavier, they can fall straight on the ground due to the gravity, and in this way these grains are separated. Okay, but in that case the stem of crop which is removed, that stem of crop is cut into the pieces, and they can this stem of crop can be fed to the cattle as a fodder, which becomes the food for that cattle. The next one is protection of crop in the field. See, crops in the field have to be protected for the healthy yield, and we have to protect the crops from the weeds and attack of pests. So the first one is the weed control. See, in the field, many other undesirable plants may grow naturally along with the crop, and that undesirable plants are called as weeds. In our in the field with our main crop, there are also certain unwanted crops are grown. So these unwanted crops should be removed. That unwanted crop are called as weed. So we have to control that weed. So the removal of weed is called as weeding. There are variety of weeds which can grow with different plants, and they can vary from place and season to season. They can vary from place to place as well as season to season. So weeding process is necessary because weeds can compete with the crop plant for the water, nutrient, space and light. Okay, that weed can compete or compare with our, they can take competition with our main plant for the water, nutrient, space and light, and ultimately affects the growth of crop. So some weeds interfere with the harvesting and may be poisonous for the animals and human beings. So farmers use different ways to remove these weeds and control their growth. These are as follows. See, the first one is the manual removing. Weeds can be removed manually by pulling or cutting them close to the ground time to time by using the trowel, that means khurpi or the harrow. See over that picture, manual removal of weeds. How that weeds are removed by pulling or cutting. So before sowing and transplanting seeding, weeds should be removed by the hand or by using plug or the harrow. This is all about the manual removing. Now next one is the use of natural herbicides or the bioherbicides. See, herbicides means which is a chemical substance that destroys the weeds. It is the chemical substance which can destroy the weeds, known as herbicide. But nowadays herbicides based on natural biological agent, they are known as natural herbicides. Some of the natural biological agents are used, so that they are known as natural herbicides or the bioherbicides are used. These are derived from the specific plant and not harmful for the human beings. Next one is the preservation and storage of agriculture product. See, this is the last step. It is important, storage, it is the important task, but it is the last step of this field. See, if crop grains are to be kept for longer time, they should be safe from the moisture, insect, rodents and microorganisms. So the fresh crop which has more moisture, and if that freshly harvested grains are stored without drying, they may get spoiled or attacked by the microorganisms like fungi and lose their germination capacity. So before storing them, they should be properly dried in sun, so that the moisture should be reduced from them, and there are certain methods which are used to prevent the loss and spoilage of this agriculture produce. These methods are, or the methods of preservation. First one is the drying. See, the grains are dried in the sun or by blowing hot air on them. So the grains should be dry, because if the grains are not dry, then due to the moisture present in that grain, the fungi should grow on that grain, and that grain should be damaged. So so for that purpose, to avoid this, we have to dry that grains in the sun or by blowing the hot air on them. The next one is the maintaining storage containers. The storage containers we should or we have to maintain that. That means some of the gunny bags or tanks or earthen pots are used for the storage purpose. The next one is the chemical treatment. The spraying or fumigation. That is, fumigation means the solution of insecticide which is converted into the fumes, and that fumes can spray over there. So spraying or fumigation of the godowns. So if we can if we can fumigate the godown, so no one can organisms come over there. Also, containers are spraying with the insecticide or fungicides before storage of grains. The use of next one is the use of improved storage structure. The storage structure should be airtight and rat proof and the moisture proof, so that we can preserve our food grains easily. So this is all about the preservation and storage of agriculture product. In this way, this chapter is also over. Okay, so in this chapter, what we have seen in this chapter, first we see about the agriculture, introduction of agriculture, then crops. There are two types of crops. Then again the horticulture. After the horticulture, we can see the steps how to improve that agriculture produce. After that, we see about the we see about the preparation of soil. Before sowing, how the soil is prepared first, and after that the plugging, what kind of instruments, that is the agriculture tools are used over there. Sowing method we have see over there. Preparation of seed bed and the seedlings. Then afterwards, what is manure, what are the fertilizers, difference between the chemical fertilizer and the manure. Organic farming, natural methods which we use for retaining the nutrients, lost nutrients in the soil. So field following, crop rotation and multiple cropping. Afterwards, the irrigation, the two types of irrigation, sprinkle irrigation and drip irrigation, and also certain traditional methods. And after getting the crop, how it is harvested, and what are the methods for harvesting that crop. And after that, the how we can protect that crop from the pest or the weeds, and how that crops should be preserved and storage. Okay, this is all about this chapter, that is crop production. Thank you.